don't look. Because now we're gonna get a little uncomfortable. Alright. So, uncomfortable, essentially, we're gonna talk about some real good topics, some controversial topics. And this is a space for y'all to say what y'all want to say. But I don't want to hear 50 million cuss words. Alright? And we're going to be respectful to each other in here. We might not all have the same views on everything. But what we will do is respect each other. Alright? That's cool, everybody? Alright. So, our topic today is talking about what's going on in the Black community here at KU, in Lawrence, and around the world. So, there's been a march to support the Black lives lost at the hands of police brutality. But do you feel like your voice was heard? Was that all? What's next? A bigger march? Police reform? Policy reform? Alright, so I'm gonna give y'all about, 5 minutes to talk amongst each other? Is that cool? I'm gonna give y'all. No, y'all just talk to whoever close to y'all. If y'all want to move and specifically talk to somebody, that's cool. I just want y'all to talk amongst each other about it, and then we're going to come together after this little 5 minutes, and we just going to talk about it all together. All right? Alrighty, everyone, we're going to come back together and we're gonna have this conversation. So, what do you guys think is next? Or what should we do, not only as us BSU members, but also as a Black community?
I honestly don't think there is anything that we can do because we've been going through this for so many years and stuff, and it seems like no matter how hard we try, they just keep going like we're gonna do. Doing people wrong, even if you like tell them like what's on, what's the problem is, like people like will go and say, you guys have equal things opportunities, and you will tell them no, it's not about the opportunity, it's about how we are being treated and everything. They'll just choose to be ignorant, so you can do nothing if they don't want to change their ignorance.
I feel it. Yeah.
We need to see more Black people run for office and things like that. And like more Black people joining the police department being like, I don't know, it's like they worry about not being cool or something.
I feel like the bigger issue is the Black community itself needs to be black first because the Black community is so strong, but there's so many subdividing groups within the community where, and there's always a struggle with smaller things and unity might be something big to happen.
We gonna touch on that another day, though. Y'all know, look. I got a question for y'all. What constitutes as Blackness?
Oh, yeah, don't go there. Not today.
Look, I ain't gonna, no, not today. We ain't gonna go there today. We ain't got that time. But I'm definitely gonna hit y'all up on another day. Alright, I'm working my way this way.
I wanted to say, like, also starts with, like, within ourselves, because, like, there's a lot of senseless killing everywhere.
Alright, you see?
I struggle with that because, like, when you think about it, all this, like, most of the problems in the Black community start from white people. Colorism, like, all of that starts from the racism, everything, the anti-Blackness. I mean, we had a brown paper bag test we were doing at a point in time. Like, all of that starts from white people, so there's really nothing. And then the Black and Black crime, don't like that term. You're obviously going to kill people in the Black community if it's predominantly Black people. You're not killing each other because you're Black. Just like white people, if you're living in a predominantly white neighborhood, you're going to kill white people.
I ain't never heard of white on white crime.
We definitely don't hear that. Anybody else on this side? Anybody in the middle? Alright.
Off of the first comment, I really do feel like at this point, it's really, I'm not gonna say it's not our job to educate them, but I have a lot of like white family members, and at this point they are being ignorant and they don't care, because when you feel like you can just say Blue Lives Matter and that makes sense to you, and
Don't get me
like,
on
that
this.
makes
Green lives matter, orange lives matter, purple lives matter too.
at this point, I'm not saying that we should educate them, but you have legal. It's kind of research of yourself. Like, you're going to stay ignorant for the rest of your life if you don't try to understand. And it's not like I don't want a white person to do slavery or nothing, but at the same time, it's like they shouldn't have to experience something to
Y'all know what they say, ignorance is bliss.
For me personally, it says like, do you feel like your voice was heard? But I mean, okay, they get mad when we peacefully protest. They get mad when we burn stuff down. They get mad when we sit there. They get mad when we stand up. Hey, so what is our voices actually going to be heard versus when they actually want to hear our voices?
That's true.
On top of that, I feel like half of them people just going for the publicity. I can't say that word, you know what I mean. And then they get back to their room and they like, you see those niggas out there? Like, I'm not.
I feel it. I feel everybody's pain and kind of frustration. I definitely think that it is coming to a head, and it's very concerning because there's nowhere to go from here. It doesn't seem like we can go up. Seems like everywhere we turn, there's that devil. But I definitely think that we still have to keep fighting just to try to go make it somewhere. Because at the end of the day, if you stop fighting, it's only gonna get worse. If they see black folks just not care no more, they're just gonna be like, oh shoot, we can do whatever we want, they ain't gonna do nothing. So I definitely think that it kind of starts within the black community. The black community has to unite. And when I mean unite, not unite for a night just to cancel somebody on Twitter. I mean really unite. So I honestly think it starts with addressing the issues in the black community that we can control. Yes. Where was my hand at? My hand was over there? You good? All right, Jamil. Do I got some? Anybody want to talk? Oh, yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah.
Like saying you stop fighting. I think that's why we have these talks now, because it seems like we got quiet and stuff like between like the 90s and stuff, and then like the little fight, the war on drugs. It's like everybody kind of like calmed down and stuff, and they keep going hard and think that's why they like started like I don't know. It just seemed like everything was going on. More people coming out and stuff like that, exposing themselves like it's shooting, and like we just starting to realize even more now than the last few years. It's been kind of quiet.
I definitely think what they like to do, they like to give us a little handout every now and then. Hence, they gave us Barack Obama. We was lit. We was quiet for a minute.
But Barack Obama,
and then y'all know what they cut. They come back harder every time. They came back with Trump. We're not gonna go there. Look. We got election GA in November, y'all.
So just to kind of go off of what you say, I think it's really important to educate ourselves like as a community in general. So like the falsity that like our vote doesn't count. We all know that we probably as a whole we can't control who they vote for as the president, but we can control who's in our local offices, places that we do live in, the communities that we do reside in, something like that. Our local mayors, school education, directors, things like that. Those are the votes that really count that initially affect us right then and there because that's the community that we live in. Things like the census. At least my whole life, at least in my blood family, my grandma always told me never to fill out the census because they don't, my grandma don't want the government in our business, and as a black community, that's kind of our thought is like the census is something bad and negative to us as a whole, but in actuality, it's actually a survey to know who's in the household, so funding can come into the community, the poverty community that we all, or some of us, do live in. So I think as a people, we have to stop being ignorant to the system that we play a role in, because we ultimately do play a role in our downfall. Sometimes, not all the time, because it is a system behind us that is pushing us down. But as a people, we, like she said, we must unite, we must fight together, and as soon as we all get on the same page, that's how quickly we can turn around.
And just to kind of go off of that, I think that as a community, we should keep pushing. Like, it's no reason to stop just because we feel like white people not listening to us. Because then we just defeated. Kobe, he didn't stop shooting the ball when he was missing jumpers. He got
that man stop shooting the ball.
And so I just think that as a community, it's important to, kind of be on each other, hold yourself accountable, because smaller disruptions with the protesting and with everything that we want to change immediately, we can get that. Because that's just making room for, you know, the bigger ones that we can get. Because it takes time.
To bounce off that real quick, that kind of remind me how they've been having these protests, and then you got looters. There was one in Chicago specifically that I saw on the news. I ain't seen none but black folks running up in that store. It's just like, it starts with the white people. They find something to distract you. And it seems like all it takes is a little distraction. And then the black folks take the bait all the time. It's just like they just keep dangling it right above your head, and we just keep taking it. It's just like, true, they choose not to show them because they be out there all the time. True. It's just more we have to, it comes down to holding yourself accountable. Because watch this reminds me of when my parents used to tell me, if somebody jump off the bridge, you gonna go right with them? No. Like, look, I know, we be needing it. They was in there, and yeah, they needed that stuff up in there. But there's gotta be a way to go about it. There's ways to go about things. And definitely, for everyone that wants to stop fighting, you gotta think about it. Yes, we did come a long ways. Our ancestors were slaves working on fields. Yes, we've come a long way, but we're not there yet. Let me hit my ones up here real quick, and I'm gonna come to y'all. Yes, he was next to me. I got you.
This was a long time ago that Jamel said about the census in the government. Because my dad has been talking to me about this a lot, and that's why I'm really glad to see so many of us here in school, trying to do better, because we really do just need to get into those higher positions as far as the laws and the rules, judges and lawyers and stuff, because the laws themselves, some of them are raggedy, but for the most part, they are made to be upheld and be good, but it's just the people who are enforcing the laws, the judges and the police officers and everyone, they're just abusing it. So it's amazing to see how many black people are we just keep getting better and better and better as far as being in those leadership positions and being able to make better decisions. And I feel over the next couple of years, how many black people we have in our universities all across the country, the world, we're gonna start to see people that are actually good get into the office, and it is gonna be a change. But as of right now, that's not the case. And so on our level, that's why we have to do the work we do. We have power to say, right, that's not, no. We need to. But protesting and just trying to learn as much as we can, be as educated as we can now, because that's what we're here for, to be educated. We might as well be educated on what we need to be doing when we get out there.
Okay, going off what I think Mel said, Tom said, Grant said about education, I feel that's the most important thing, because how she said, were you satisfied with the march? Honestly, I wasn't satisfied with the march, because I feel we didn't fight with an agenda. When you're educated, then you can create an agenda. And I feel when you have an agenda, then you start to converse with those leaders. We need to be in those offices that have closed doors, and we don't know what they're saying, in leadership. Because something that upset me was at the march, our own chancellor and provost, they marched, from Strong Hall to the stadium, but they didn't speak up and speak out at, the rally. So I feel that says something about our university and what they talk about in their leadership meetings. You can't just sit there and march and then not say anything, about the policies. And we need to know and be educated on what policies we need changed, so that when we are in these conversations, we aren't sounding ignorant, and that we're actually have momentum. So
there's a reason why they ain't want the slaves to be educated. The mind is very powerful. Wait, I said y'all. I'm gonna come back to you, Teach.
And then another thing is, I know people may be, uncomfortable in the beginning, because I was too coming to PWI, being, the only black person in the class, but, is even if you're shy, it's very important to speak up in those classes to those white people because you hear the stuff they be saying. And at first you may be quiet, but it gets so ignorant and like you can't be silent no more. So I think that's another important thing too. Even if you can't speak out to like people around campus, just speaking up in your classes, educating them, like shutting them down. Because I know that the HBCU topic versus BW, that's a thing, but like it's very important that even if you can't go to HBCU, you have a voice here, and even if that's just in your classroom, you're speaking up and educating them, or else you're just kind of part of the problem.
True. If you ain't saying nothing, what is you doing? You ain't helping.
A lot of white people here are like, they come from small, hick towns, like all around from the Midwest, like, and I'm from the Midwest, so I can say that. But like, they come from these small, like hick towns, and they don't even be. Some of them are racist, but some of them are just ignorant. Like I was in a class with this boy, and he used to say he was cool. We was kind of not close, but like we was cool. Like we were talking class, but every once in a while he would just say something, and I'd be like, no, like that's not right. And he'd be like, I'm sorry. Like immediately, like he'd be like, I'm sorry, I didn't know. Like this is just something I heard. Like he just did not know. He told me there was no black people in his high school. Like some of the white people that come here have never only seen black people on TV, and I feel like that's something that like when it comes to educating people in our classroom, like it's important to mention it because some people literally just don't know, and it's like we don't want to be prosecuting the people who don't know, like spending all of our energy going off on people who just don't know compared to the people who are actually like doing that stuff on purpose.
Look, people gonna do what they want to do at the end of the day. So all you can do is do your part and be done with it in a sense.
But my question,
Lord, Keith, you got something? I'm sorry. I'll come back to you.
I want to say is, basically, as black people, we got to understand that we all on the same team at the end of the day. It's like when folks start talking about the looting and shit, it's like, so what that somebody lose? Like, you got to think about it, if that person losing, they might have been in the slums their whole life, and it's they one chance that they gonna get an LV bag. This day one chance. So you shouldn't. Okay.
But yes, go on, TJ.
Yeah, it's like all the way from somebody who's doing it all the way right, you standing, you doing the chants and stuff, and you being peaceful in this. The losing is what get it on TV, is what get people to be like, oh,